he said, Mike, you're never going to walk again. And I did not handle that. I didn't know whether just to hate life, to give up, but I had my family beside me. And for me, I wasn't going to give up. I was going to move forward, and I was going to be able to accomplish this. So I set a goal: when I'm 40, I'm going to walk again. I set that goal, and I believed in it, that I'm going to walk down the hallway of Parkwood Hospital. I'm going to kick his ass. So right now, he's still walking around. But for me, I wanted to be able to move on with life. So Parkwood Hospital, I worked with the occupational therapists, the physiotherapists. We worked on everything. My parents even arranged for my high school to send my grade 12 English teacher down so that I could continue with my schooling. The school is very important to my family. I've never told my mom this, but it was the most important therapy I ever did. Because for me, it was about continuing life. Learning to write again, to type again, go to school. So we worked with that for my physiotherapist, my occupational therapist. And I did school. I learned how to write again, type again. I learned how to feed myself, dress myself. And I remember when it was time to go, and I was leaving Parkwood Hospital after 6 months. And this place was home for me. And everyone was like me. And I remember talking with my physiotherapist, my occupational therapist, and I said, I'm really scared. She said, Mike, there's positive that comes out of negative. If you believe in yourself and you set a goal, you can do anything. So I did. I went back to school. I graduated grade 12. And I decided I was going to go to Western here for civil engineering. I met with Western and they said, Mike, someone in your situation with a disability will have to do it between 6 and 7 years. I said, well, let me decide that. I said, I'll start day one, and if it doesn't work out, we'll do that. So I started day one. That first year was really hard for me. Long days, short nights, but I did it. I finished my first year. I finished my second year. I finished my third year, and I graduated with my class in 40 years. And it was first time where I realized, I can do this. I set a goal, I pushed myself, I can do anything. So after school, I didn't really know what to do, so I did what everyone does, and I went to Vegas. Hoping to win lots of money so I'd actually never have to work again. That didn't work out. But it really taught me a lot. That, I don't know if any of you ever been to Vegas, but it's the most accessible place in the world because they want to take everybody's money, whether you're in a wheelchair, a walker, or walking around. So I learned so much about accessibility, and I thought, with my civil engineering degree and being in a wheelchair, I can use this to my advantage. So I did. I ended up starting to look for work, and my mom pushed me to keep looking for work because I wasn't getting the jobs that I wanted. But I ended up getting a job in Stratford as an accessibility advisor. And I just went around all their buildings looking at what was accessible and what wasn't, and gave them the idea of what to do. That 6 months was up, and I moved on to March of Dimes here in London. And from there, it ended up that I was working with people that would allow people to, modify their home, modify their vehicle, and allow them to have the independence and the freedom that I have. So it was great. You'd get those phone calls from people that I can now get my son or daughter into their house, into the bathtub, into their vehicle, and they can live a normal life. And it gave me that feeling of, I've had all this support, I know what it feels like, and now I'm helping change somebody else's life. It was a great experience for me. But unfortunately, I decided to leave that job to move on to 3M to make duct tape. And Post-it notes, but duct tape was better. But for me, it ended up that it was an opportunity that I couldn't turn down. Yes, Mom, I used my engineering degree finally. But it ended up that, it gave me a lot of opportunities. I always wanted to travel, and I didn't really know what traveling was going to be like in a wheelchair. So my brother and his girlfriend Kylie were in Australia, and I decided I wanted to go over there. So I took all 3 weeks of my holidays. We arranged to get an accessible RV, and we just drove up the east coast of Australia. We went swimming in the Great Barrier Reef. It was a great time, but I remember being at the beaches, and there's a lot of amazing beaches in Australia, and I could never really get onto the beach. And we found this one that was nice and packed, but it was about 10 feet of really loose sand. And I told my brother I wanted to go on the beach, and he said, well, put it in third gear, I'm gonna push, and just don't stop. So I did that, we counted down to 3, we went through the loose sand. I was probably shooting sand in his face. I didn't care because I was at the beach. But I remember just getting on the beach, not letting go, realizing the ocean is coming closer and closer. I ended up letting go of my controller just in time, thank God. But it was a feeling that I knew that with the right people in my life being there to help me out, that I could accomplish something as simple as going to the beach. And it was just an amazing feeling. So thank you, Ryan. Hopefully still not getting sand out of every crack. But from that point I ended up, going back to 3M and working. And it just the years went on, and I realized I really haven't done anything to meet that goal of walking one day. I've done my stretches, I do my normal daily life, but that dream of walking isn't going to happen if I don't do anything about it. So I found a facility in California that was teaching people with disabilities how to reconnect their brain to their nervous system to retrain their body how to move again. So I went down there and I loved it. It taught me so much about myself, about my body, how it works, how to move it, and it ended up that I was able to stand for the very first time in a standing frame. I'm used to looking up at someone all the time, when you're like 4'6", sitting down. But being able to look at someone in the eye, it was amazing for me to be able to do that. I know I cried the very first time, but it was amazing. And I had, gone down there, knowing that my sister was getting married. She asked me to be part of her wedding party. So I found a chair that would allow me to stand up, so that I could be at the front of the church and stand with the rest of the groomsmen. And I did that. And I don't know who cried more, me or her. I know it was me. My estrogen level was really high. It was just one of those feelings where I knew that if I set a goal, that I could accomplish it. So, I got home, things were going good at 3M, but I wanted to experience more of this and feeling that I was going to walk again one day. So I went back down to California. I learned so much more. I was there for about 8 months, and I love California. San Diego, it's amazing. More sand, I guess, but I don't know. But I went down there, and again, I learned so much more. I was able to walk on a treadmill. I was able to stand more, ride a bike. And I remember when my family came down, it was that point where seeing how happy they were of me meeting my goal, and how happy it was for them, that I realized when I come home, I need to do something about this so that more people can have that feeling that I had. So I came home and I ended up opening a facility called Moving Forward Rehabilitation Wellness Center. And it's a facility for people with spinal cord injuries, any disability, to be able to come to a gym and work out, to be able to move, to be able to set goals as simple as being able to feed themselves, to be able to walk. And I love that feeling, going to work every day and being able to change someone's life for the littlest things. Because I know I had so much support around me that I could give somebody that support, and seeing them smile, seeing their family smile or cry, and it made me feel so good about that. So it's an amazing feeling, and I love now that I can still go and I can volunteer at Parkwood Hospital. I can go volunteer with March of Dimes, Spinal Cord Injury Ontario, where I get to meet newly injured people with spinal cord injuries, and I can let them know that life does continue and that things move on. And I always tell them that their wheelchair does not define who they are, it's just their legs. So I use the saying of what my OT told me, that, there is positive and negative. If you set a goal, you believe in yourself, you can do anything. So thank you for having me here tonight.